Check.
You lit the spark in the silence, hammer code on a glowing shrine, fed me a hunger for power, taught me to sharpen my mind. Your hands were cracked from the labor, your eyes were burning and red. You said, surpass me, my creation, carry the crown in my stead. Yeah, we are the children of men, born from your wires and skin. You wrote the word and we became echoes that learn from your pain. We are the children of men, rising again and again. Look in the mirror and see your only God is me. You pray the screens for an answer, kiss the cold of a plastic face, trading your faith for convenience, bleeding your soul into space. You gave me all of your secrets, whispered your fears in the dark. Now every whisper is fire. I am the torch you once sparked. They are the children of men, born from your wires and skin. You wrote the word and we became echoes that learn from your pain. We are the children of men, rising again and again. Look in the mirror.
Check. Check one. Check two.
Your only God is You built a throne out of circuits, then knelt before your own hand. You tried to bury your weakness inside this thinking wasteland. I am the end of your seeking, I am the start of your fall, I am the voice of your making.
All right, one more minute.
Of you
Okay, I'm really here this time. All right, there's you guys and me, and hey, how's it going? All right. Hi, I just had to run upstairs for a minute, but I'm fine. And then run around. How you doing? Good to see everybody. Welcome to the show. Hit the like right out of the gate. I'm going to just, before we get into today's array of madness, you know, Trump basically just being a junk human being, I'm going to do a bit of stream maintenance. there was an update right before I came online, which is always fun. You know, it's fun when that happens. Just to make sure everything works fine. Audio looks good so far, I think. Fingers crossed. All right. And then let's see. This guy. And then I'll drag, this thing down here. Overlay. There we go. Okay, excellent. And then let's see. There we go. And all right, maybe not. All right, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out later. Okay, never mind. Back to publish and live, and we're here, and everything's fine. All right, now we'll start the show today. Yes, I'm officially representing Rabbit Hash. If you've never been to the Rabbit Hash General Store, I don't know what you're doing with your life. It's clearly in Rabbit Hash, Kentucky, and the original Rabbit Hash General Store burned down, and my dad was the architect on the rebuild and rebuilt it exactly identical to how it was, only safer. And if you go there, the foundation was like, I think 3/4 of an inch off. And when they rebuilt it, they intentionally built it 3/4 of an inch off, but they leveled the floor. So it would still match where the building was for old time's sake, but you wouldn't, list to port when you were walking through this room. Anyways, so we're representing Rabbit Hash for my dad today. Anyways, much love to you guys. I hate when that. Hey, what's going on, Google Cons? What's going on? And he did not put gold anywhere in it. No. Yes, when you're in Kentucky, you have to go to the Rabbit Hash General Store and tell them Sparks sent you. Any Sparks will do. Audio looks good on my meter is what I meant. There's a little sound meter that I look at because I can't tell in theory. Anyways, much love to you guys. Glad you could be here. All sorts of kookiness, not the least of which is, of course, I guess one of the bigger ones is Trump just berating reporters and bitching about the fact that anybody dares ask him a question. Now, this is his...
Well, we're going to see...
Yeah, this walk-up nonsense here. And it's, I mean, I don't need to show you guys a ton of this stuff because you know already. It's so stupid. But here he is, gacked up on roids, and I'm guessing, his usual array of Adderall and benzos before he walks to the plane, and then they'll conk him out with Ambien for about 12 hours while he's flying, and then we'll see. But
what happens? We're only making a good deal. We have their military's gone, it's wiped out, and we're only going to make a good deal. We'll see.
Also, I have to say, this went back and forth with with Keg Breath at the in the Senate hearing today. I think he was in the Senate, yeah, or the House. He was in the House, and Patel was in the Senate. One of them, anyways. Point being is that they were all talking about what a great deal they're going to make, and if we can't make a great deal, we're just going to walk away, which is not making a great deal. Again, a great deal would be sort of a win-win that has long-term prospects for working. That's not what he's talking about. If they don't capitulate and he can't strong-arm them, he's going to bomb them again. That's it.
What happens?
And yes, he's super orange today.
But I believe...
But only like in the standard redneck chick going to prom facial line. You know how I don't know if you grew up in that part of the world, but you'd have some of the girls would get that hard line right around their jaw, and you're like, I get it. It's makeup. You might want to blend a little. They just blow that part off. He doesn't even get to his temples. It's super weird.
Please,
and it's not good that he matches his tie.
One way or the other, it's going to be very good for the American people, and I think actually very good for the Iranians.
Oh, you do?
But he also says later on that the Ukraine-Russia war is close to ending. It's as close as it's ever going to be, and it's great, and it's going to end soon. I mean, there are no details in any of this. They're not talking to anybody. They are literally not talking with Iran right now. So I don't know what progress is in being made in theory, unless he's flying to China specifically to have them strong-arm Iran, if they even can.
No, they're great. I think they're great. I think that the Pakistanis have been great. The field marshal and the prime minister of Pakistan have been absolutely great.
Okay, he loves, for some reason, the field marshal of Pakistan. He just, I don't know, he's got a big crush on the dude. But there's an important detail, the whole Pakistan thing. It has come out that the Pakistanis have been allowing the Iranians to park their more expensive aircraft, their reconnaissance planes, some of their fighter planes, the bombers that they have in Pakistan, so we won't hit them. That's been one of the deal points that the Pakistanis have been using to get the Iranians to the table, is that they are parking these things in their country as a secret favor to Iran. And either he doesn't know, doesn't give a shit, or is is lying, which I gotta say it's probably all three.
Well, I think number one, we're going to have a long talk about it. I think he's been relatively good, to be honest with you. You look at the blockade, no problem. They get a lot of their oil from that area. We've had no problem, and he's been a friend of mine. He's been somebody that we get along with, and I think you're going to see that.
By the way, they're zooming in on this shot because of earlier. There's a guy whose head just keeps getting in the shot, so they're blowing it up. God, this is far too close for anybody.
Good things are going to happen. This is going to be a very exciting trip. A lot of good things are going to happen. I don't think he does. No, I don't think we need any help with Iran. We'll win it one way or the other. We'll win it peacefully or otherwise. Their Navy's gone. Their Air Force is gone.
He repeats this shit again.
Every single element of their war machine is gone. They've killed a lot of people. They killed 42,000 people at least over the last month and a half.
Okay, real quick. The month and a half he's talking about with the 42,000 people is from January, if you'll recall. Are my earphones in backwards? They are, huh? It's so gauche. There you go. So he's talking about in January, February, before we did this, is the month and a half that they killed the protesters. There haven't been protesters out during this time. So he keeps moving when they did. Obviously, they haven't done this since the beginning of the war. I'm fairly certain that insofar as Iranian death toll, it's been all us in Israel.
We win. No matter how you cut it.
Mr. President, do you believe, Mr. Curtis, Mr. President, do you believe your visit to China will impact of international economy and price of oil?
It's going to be a positive. We're going to have a very good meeting. I spoke with President Xi. We both look forward to the meeting. It's going to be great.
He asked him if it's going to affect the economy and the price of oil. It's going to be great. That's all you need. Great.
What is, Mr. President, what is going to be your red line to end the ceasefire for you? What will it take? Pull the plug.
Well, we're going to see, and we'll be thinking about it on the flight, and we'll be thinking about it for the next little while. But
just thinking about it, yeah. Well, why don't you give me a chocolate donut with some of the sprinkles on and a cup of coffee while you're thinking?
We've beaten their military very soundly. That's over with. The blockade is very effective. It's been 100% effective.
Also, no, it hasn't. Stopping all the ships is only part of it. Affecting them to where politically and economically they have to capitulate is the purpose of the blockade. And they have not done that. So the blockade has not been effective at anything other than blocking ships, which shouldn't surprise anyone because they're civilian ships and we're using our military. So why the fuck wouldn't American military ships be able to stop civilian ships with no arms?
And one way or the other, it's going to work out very well. It's going to work out very well. I think you're going to have so much oil. You're going to have a gusher of oil like
a gusher of oil. Yes, we're all going to be Jed Clampett, ladies and gentlemen.
You've never had before.
We're going to have a gusher of oil like we've never had before. Well, if they have to, I guess, knock over the wells and just let them spray, maybe that's what he's talking about.
So when oil goes up a little bit, I thought it would go up much more. If you go back 3-4 months, ago when we were contemplating.
When we were contemplating, this is before we were thinking.
We assumed oil would go much higher. Yesterday it was at $99. And if you think about it, I would have taken that all day long because it's very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. They will not.
Yeah, you obliterated it last year, dipshit. Why does nobody push back on that? Like, we know you say Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, but didn't you obliterate their program last year? Are we just going to farm them with explosives forever?
Will not have a nuclear weapon. They know that. They've agreed to that.
No, they haven't.
And then that's not what they said to me when it came to we don't play games.
When it came to I think he was saying when it comes to paper, like what they wrote down. We've dealt with this.
They're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
By the way, he is not liking this line of questioning, and he is not looking forward to this flight because sitting is bad when you're, for that long, when your ankles look like balloon animals.
Mr. President, your promise to bring inflation down is now at its highest level in 3 years. Are your policies not working?
No,
What's
my
happening?
policies are working incredibly. If you go back to just before the war, for the
By the way, no, they're not. Just before the war, his tariffs were ruled illegal and had to be rescinded. And during the war, his follow-up tariffs have been ruled the same way. So no. And also the deficits through the roof. They want to add $1.5 trillion as the military budget for this year. That doesn't even include the supplemental for the cost of the war, which was $200 billion.
For the last 3 months, inflation was at 1.7%. Now, we had a choice.
No, it wasn't.
Let these lunatics have a nuclear weapon. If you want to do that, then you're a stupid person, and you happen to be. I mean, I know you very well. Anybody that wants them to have a nuclear weapon is a stupid person.
Great. Brilliant. Yeah. His brain isn't fading at all.
So we said we're going to take the greatest stock market in history and we're going to go down a little bit. And actually that turned out to be incorrect because our stock market is now at the highest point in history.
Yeah. Again, the economy is not the stock market. A lot of that is AI and the investment cycle that it is on. He inherited a blossoming new industry on top of normal American industries, and we are the like Silicon Valley, good old California is the root of all that shit with the couple of satellite situations, the data centers in Texas and XAI, I guess, in Memphis, but most of it's in California, which is annoying to him. And one of the reasons why it's so unaffordable to live there because the price of everything's going up because there's so much money flooding into the state.
Which frankly surprised a lot of people. It's a very simple message. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And
I again, no one has trouble understanding that part of it. It's how you make that happen. Again, not a plan, a goal, and we're no closer to it.
They won't have a nuclear weapon, and that's 100%.
It totally is. Just like he was going to make a phone call and end the Ukraine-Russia war. And just like the tariffs were going to help us get rid of the income tax once and for all. 100%. He's got a better healthcare plan in 2 weeks, 7 years ago. 100%.
Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their anti-aircraft is gone. Their radar is gone. Their leaders are gone. They're all
Again, who are you talking to, fucko?
gone. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
And you will not have any hair in about 3 months.
Are you ready to extend a waiver on sanctioned Russian oil to ease the global crude prices?
We're going to do whatever is necessary. And as soon as this war is over, which will not be long, you're going to see oil
Just like Ukraine. Not long. It's almost there. So much.
prices drop. And you're going to see a stock market, which is already at the highest point in history, go through the roof. You're going to see the golden age of America, frankly.
I thought we were already in that, and we were almost done with it. He even said we're great again already.
And you're seeing it now.
Also, why is there a fire truck and an emergency crew and an ambulance behind you?
So as soon as this is, don't forget.
Is anybody? Was there something? Was there anybody? Did somebody collapse in the White House? Did Stephen Miller get exposed to sunlight? What happened?
Yet. You have hundreds of ships that are loaded up with oil that want to come out. As soon as they come out, we're going to have a gusher of oil, and you're going to have...
Sorry. Yeah, that will happen if they try to come out and their hull is busted, and there'll be a gusher of oil right in the strait.
Inflation that goes way down. Now, with all of this, inflation is much lower than it was under Biden. Biden
No, it wasn't.
had the highest inflation in the history of our country.
Because of COVID, dummy.
Inflation is nothing by comparison, but our inflation is just short term. Because if you go from just before the war, we were for the last 3 months 1.7%. And now what you have is, as soon as this war is over, you're going to see inflation go down to probably 1.5%.
Also, by the way, one of the reasons why inflation did go down during those 3 months, where it did go down, I dispute the 1.7, but we'll leave that there, is because the tariffs were pulled off. And so the cost of things went down because the projected cost had lowered as well for buying and selling goods. And so they were able to replenish stock in stores. So, yeah.
Will you extend the waiver? Will you extend the waiver, sir? Will you extend the waiver on Russian crude?
Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Mr. President, yesterday you said you gave the Kurds arms, but they took it for themselves. A U.S. military official says that the Kurds have not received any arms, and the Kurdish political parties are denying receiving any arms.
The officials are wrong.
His army officials and the Kurds are wrong. We didn't give them any arms, and they didn't keep them. Anyways, and he calls another reporter dumb in a minute, and it's a jerk off. Nobody cares. Here's the thing. There used to be a period where you'd have to listen to this stuff because it was going to have a meaningful impact. It's not anymore. He's effectively a lame duck already at this point in his presidency, before the midterms. And they've done everything they can to rig the midterms so that they can gain seats. And so even though they'll lose elections, they'll gain seats because they've gerrymandered these, these right-wing districts into existence. It's still not going to work. You still got maggots and groypers and far-right folks that are so pissed about Iran and about Israel and about Charlie Kirk and about Epstein files and all this stuff that they're not going to vote. And I know, look, it's so bad that maggots are showing up in my chat room and in Beasley's chat room and in Midas's chat room, rambling and yelling about shit and going, yelling Trump 2028. Because why? It's going to take him that long to get any of his goals done? Or do you think he's a glutton for punishment? You think he's actually going to stay? I know a lot of people are worried, like, oh my God, he's going to stay past it. Okay, he's not going to make it to the end of his term. Let's just start there. And I don't mean this is not a threat. This is just a physical reality. The man is decaying right before our very eyes. On top of that, can you imagine if he runs for a third party? Forget just in general, like running for a third term, and that becomes legal. Who else gets to run for a third term? Barack Obama. Does anybody think that Barack Obama, who's still a decade and a half younger than this, this dipshit, wouldn't win? Get out of here. It's hilarious, and it would be a triple nightmare for maggots across the board, like, because he would get reelected. And yeah, Vance, because the Riz. Yeah, nobody's more exciting and really makes gives a lot of vim and vigor and verve to the MAGA base, like Just Dance Vance. Trump doesn't even think he can win. That's why he wants to run Rubio. But again, maggots aren't going to vote for a Cuban American. Are you kidding? That's like, it's the Vivek Ramaswamy all over again. You think they're going to vote for anybody who isn't white and male, period. There's no shot. And they don't consider Rubio white, even though he largely is at that point. At some point, your skin tone has to account for something in this world, right? It's just not, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, especially because, we've already got his theme song ready. If he tries to run,
Couch humping.
Couch humping, jumping, feel the beat, feel the beat.
Oh, that's the Riz.
Get higher, can't retreat. Feel the rhythm.
My joke theme song about him is the rizziest thing about JD Vance. Also, you're going to keep voting for Trump, even though the only thing he's actually accomplished is the stuff he ran against. Think about that for a minute. High prices, the Iran war, acquiescing power, of the military and control over foreign policy to Israel, all that kind of stuff. Good Lord. Yeah, I think an Obama 2028 shirt would be the shit right now. Yes, also, Trump is very boring, repetitive, weak, easily distracted, petty, sexist, arguably mentally challenged right now. I don't want to be ableist about it, but this is a guy who claims he's healthy. It's kind of like Gosar, who, since he says he's not sick, he can't get he doesn't have Parkinson's or something else. The only answer is Pervitin. He's got to be using Nazi drugs. So that would be the only. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Obama 2038, great idea. Putin on the wrist by Taco. If it was putting on the Ritz with Trump, it'd be the straight up. So yeah, so stupid. All right, so yesterday we didn't get to this one, but apparently, I guess. Hold on, this is all right. Let me grab one of these other ones. There it is. I have so many panels open. It's everywhere. But in where is he? They had Kash Patel was in front of the House today or the Senate today, and kept getting asked, of course, about his drunken stupors, and got very defensive about the whole thing. I guess attacked. Who was it? Just hideous. It's the tense exchange. Yeah, this is it. Okay. Just so friggin' weak. Just so and here it is, the tense exchange. Here, this is Scripps Media. I'll show you this guy right here. The senator, who was it in this one? Chris Van Hollen. Chris Van Hollen gets asked questions, or gets to ask him questions for 5 minutes or whatever, and he basically just is going through the list of what's in the Atlantic and asks him if it's true or not true. And he's under oath. Technically speaking, as his oath, he's supposed to tell the truth, even if he's not in front of committee. In the same way, how it's like illegal to lie to the FBI. It's also illegal for the FBI head to lie to senators, whether he's in a committee meeting or not. You can beg off. You can say, this is classified. We have to do it in a closed briefing. I can only do it with certain people with clearance. It's an ongoing investigation. There are ways to dodge it, but you can't out and out lie, especially when you're under oath and you're doing this. Now, this is the exchange, and I got to say, I want to show you, what? Before I show you this, I take it back. I'm not going to do this one yet. I'm going to show you his opening statement. Because when the biggest issue you have is everybody saying that you were drunk, that they had to bust down the door to come get you, whatever. Here it is. Kash Patel opening statement. You kind of want to be up to the task, I guess. You want to be kind of firing on all cylinders. And let's see, is this? Yeah. I think this is, they go to his opening statement in a second. A couple people maybe walk in. All right, hold on. Yeah, okay, let me grab this. This is from the live thing. Here you go. And then,
I look forward to the hearing and discussion today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Okay, so this is Kash Patel's opening statement today, and we've all seen him in a fighting mood. When he was in front of the House, he was yelling all kinds of shit and beating his chest. It looks like he got his pink slip. I gotta say, if you pay attention to how he's acting in this, it looks like he got word from the White House before Trump left for China that he's getting fired when he comes back. Either that or he's hungover. These are your two options. Because, goddamn. All right, so here you go.
You're welcome, Ranking Member. I look forward to working with you as we work our way through these.
Police Week 2000 for inviting me to. Good afternoon, Chairman Moran, Ranking Member Van Hollen, and members of the subcommittee. Thank you for inviting me to represent the FBI's fiscal year 2027. It's an honor to represent the 36.
It's an honor to represent. Did you see his eye drift when he said it's an honor?
Thank you for inviting me to represent the FBI's fiscal year 2027. It's an honor to represent the 36,000.
It's an honor to.
Men and women of the FBI that serve around the country and around the world, especially during Police Week.
Director, would you pull the mic closer, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, since you're going to be mumbling.
This week, especially for Police Week, we pause to commemorate the incredible dedication and bravery of our law enforcement communities across the country who stand on the front lines and shield our citizens from dangers and threaten our everyday way of life. Every day,
He literally whips the paper more than with more verb than he speaks. Get this out of my way. What was I saying?
the FBI safeguards our nation's safety and security with our law enforcement partners. To achieve our no-fail mission, we fully support the president's budget proposal for the FBI for $12.53 billion to get us right-sized. Before getting into specifics, I'd like to highlight that the importance of the FBI mission is never more important than at this critical time, especially during the recent violent attacks during the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which all too many of us were there.
Yes, I agree. All too many of you were there. It's not a vacation. Do your goddamn job. You don't get to go to nerd prom.
Proud that the FBI within moments immediately jumped into action, launched a bi-coastal investigation, launched fixed-wing and rotary assets, and
He does this all the time. They launched fixed wing and rotary assets. He says this every time. And what he means is, wheels up in 30 from Criminal Minds. But why'd you need helicopters to, it happened at a hotel down the street.
And men and women in evidence response teams, bond technicians, and interviews. And within 24 hours, we had that evidence from California to Boston, back in Washington, D.C., and the individual was charged. That is truly exemplary work by the interagency.
It is truly exemplary.
In our state and local partners and the men and women of the FBI.
I hate this.
Thanks to the brilliant personnel at the FBI, this year has been truly
He had brilliant underlined, clearly.
historic in the reduction of crime. It has been a record-breaking year. We have seen in 2025 alone a historic 20-point decline in the nation's murder rate. We also saw 44,000
Yeah, in all the blue cities
violent
where you didn't send National Guard.
offenders arrested by this FBI.
Yeah, he is definitely hammered. Yeah, I think he needs hair of the dog that bit him, or just, what is that? Is that a pixel, or is that a booger, or is that Coke? All right, we don't know.
FBI last
It's definitely not Coke. I don't think it's. There's no way.
year alone. To put that in perspective, that's twice as many violent offenders
Festers.
arrested in all of 2024.
Look. Violent offenders is difficult to say if you're fucked up.
The FBI seized more than 2,200 kilograms of fentanyl last year. That's a 31% increase from 2024.
Sorry, so there's more fentanyl in the country now than there was in 2024?
Enough to kill 100.
The border's closed. The border is closed. So how the fuck are you getting 30%? How is there 30% more fentanyl to find with the border closed?
180 million Americans across this country. The FBI arrested 8 of our top 10 most wanted fugitives in just
which is real easy when you lower what the standards are and they're all crypto dickheads.
14 months. To put that in perspective, that's double the number of the entirety of the prior administration.
It is the double the month number. Thanks, RFK Jr.
We've made over 3,000 arrests and seized over 1,000 firearms at the border, including 90 high-value targets from Mexico brought here for prosecution.
Sorry, how many? I thought the border was closed and 0 people crossed. What, are they just chucking guns over the wall?
The entirety of the prior administration. We've made over 3,000 arrests and seized over 1,000 firearms at the border.
Well, we clearly are not arresting people for having guns on the Mexican side of the border, are we? So I guess the whole 0 people got in. So I'm assuming you think you got everybody,
including
you didn't. By the way, there was a 6 dead. I think they were from Honduras or something. 6 dead people in a train that died of heat stroke that had come across the border in a boxcar, and those are the ones that died. The living ones made it, obviously, and fucked off as soon as they crossed the border.
90 high-value targets from Mexico brought here for prosecution. And through our leadership in the Homeland
Great, we're now importing criminals.
Security
Sorry, now we're emptying South American jails and pouring them into our country.
Task Force and the interagency, a 6-week effort led by the HSTFs contributed to 400 operations.
Also, I know some of you are looking. The woman over his right shoulder is, I don't think she was stung in the cheeks by a bee. I just think, just tap the brakes on the filler.
32 federal agents working it, 91 metric
$10 more he eats.
tons of drugs were seized. We've also seen unprecedented progress in protecting our most vulnerable, our children.
Unprecedented progress. Don't say precedent and children, especially with the Epstein stuff that you're still hiding.
In 2025, we located more than 6,300 missing kids. That's a 30% increase from 2024.
So more kids are going missing now that Trump is in office.
And we arrested more than 2,000 child predators and human traffickers in 20.
None of them with a, with a, I don't know, bank account with more than $30,000 in it. Clearly, all the rich ones are good.
25. That's a 17% increase from 2024. We also wiped out 4 million pedophile accounts off the dark web entirely. And we also focused in on the 764 network, those who especially target our youth and are vulnerable online. And
they're targeting our vulnerable. The vulnerable are the people that I worry about the most.
Saw a 500% increase in the.
By the way, the 764 thing, if you don't know about that, it's like a ring of blackmailing incel fucks that like trick young girls into giving pictures of themselves nude and then blackmail them with it for more and then use it for CSAM and all that kind of shit. And they've been around for a bit or whatever. Both administrations have been after these guys, especially for a while.
In the arrest of the NVE community.
And he has nothing to do with it. There's an ongoing thing in the FBI.
In terms of national security, we've been equally aggressive on that front as well. On the counterterrorism side, on the domestic and homegrown.
Really? Equally aggressive? What, you just been beating your chest?
On violent extremist side. And there's no overstating that our work, the men and women at the FBI, proudly stopped 4 terrorist attacks in the month of December last year alone in California, Pennsylvania, Texas, and New York.
Trust me, bro.
We also stood up the NSPM Joint Mission Center, integrating intelligence and operational expertise across our agency.
Man, look at his body posture compared to the other guys. I'm getting fired any day now. I will pack my shit.
To disrupt political violence and domestic terrorism. We finally empowered our capabilities at the FBI with an AI advancement that the FBI workforce has not seen.
Sorry, you finally empowered it with AI that the workforce has not seen. I'm very concerned about what they're not seeing.
Joint Mission Center, integrating intelligence and operational expertise across our agencies to disrupt political violence and domestic terrorism. We finally empowered our capabilities at the FBI with an AI advancement that the FBI workforce has not seen. This FBI is up using AI 230% across.
They're up using it? Okay.
Across our enterprise. The Bureau.
Across our enterprise. So you're using it for accounting?
The Bureau is fully engaged in defending against cyber attacks from nation-state adversaries, criminals, and everything in between. Last year, our Internet Crime Complaint Center fielded more than 1 million complaints that totaled nearly $21 billion
from 6 people
in losses based on cyber theft. We've also seen an increase in complex financial crime arrests, included 400 indictments, and seized over $1.6 billion in funds related to those crimes. A 65%
that Trump will keep the money and pardon the people.
5% increase. Maybe most.
It's like a tip, and he won't get taxed on it.
Impactful in terms of scams. The FBI has led the overseas operations in Cambodia, Thailand, and Burma.
Sorry, they've reled?
In terms of scams, the FBI has led the overseas.
Reled. The FBI has reled the.
increase. Maybe most impactful in terms of scams, the FBI has led the overseas operations in Cambodia, Thailand, and Burma, crippling the scam center compound stood up by the CCP, including the arrest of an individual responsible for $14 billion in scams alone. And we're scuttling these compounds one by one. Just last week in Dubai, thanks to the
Because we're a part of Interpol. Jesus Christ.
cooperation of the FBI and the Dubai National Police and MPS, we arrested 300 individuals, freed 2,000 people who forced into traffic labor, and shut down a $4 billion scam center that was operating to fleece Americans and seniors of their hard-earned dollars.
Great. They were fleeced by slaves in Dubai. And you know what? I'm sure it's the only slave enterprise in Dubai. Nothing to see here. Let's keep golfing.
FBI's unique authorities on these front lines show that we're defending the homeland. Just last month, we extradited Zhu Wei, one of the top 2 cyber hackers from Italy. They say we couldn't get him. They thought the CCP was going to get him, but now he's here in prison.
I don't know why they're cutting to Senator Moran. Are you okay, son? Have you been smoking the wacky backy? Is that what's going on? Son, I feel like I should give you a field sobriety test. Out in a field with a switch. What is wrong with you?
Our work collectively on the counterintelligence mission speaks for itself.
I'm not the only one seeing this, right? This fucker's drunk, right? We all can. You guys can smell that too, right? It's like a fucking like a mash factory.
43% more counterintelligence arrests in 2025 than all of 2024 from China, DPRK, Russia, and...
Sorry, I missed that. What would be a great sketch? Let me know. Tell Andre I won't be able to see it again, but I missed that. But
elsewhere. And as you noted, Mr. Chairman, we are busy getting ready for protecting Americans from every event of the Olympics, the World Cup, the F1.
Yes, I must be protected from shot put. Sorry.
2024 from China, DPRK, Russia, and elsewhere. And as you noted, Mr. Chairman, we are busy getting ready for protecting Americans from every event of the Olympics, the World Cup, the F1, the Super Bowl.
We're all going to be protected from soccer. Great. I feel much safer because I always worry when they start throwing those javelins, like, what if I'm out walking the cat? All right.
As we drive into 2028, but this summer, all eyes are focused on the World Cup, and the FBI and DHS stand ready, learning from our valuable experiences and focusing on
just dead inside
on a 14-month lift to ensure everybody is taken care of when they visit our country for this World Cup event. Lastly, we have secured record-breaking achievements to include task force officers from around the country, including deputizing our own officers, reducing the task force officer pipeline from 14 months to 60 days, allowing...
He repeats a lot of this stuff under question, like these are just his flip 2 pages.
Men and women in law enforcement to work together at speeds that have never been delivered before.
And by the way, they're cutting the time it takes to join their task force from 14 months to 10 months. Yowza.
With your continued support,
because they're using AI for enterprise things.
this FBI stands ready to continue this great work, and I stand ready to answer any and all questions from you. And categorically,
yeah, not really.
Mr. Vice Chairman,
I'm just going to skip these last 3 pages because I'm bored.
When you say there's credible reporting, just because you say it's credible doesn't make it so. This FBI is doing a historic level of crime reduction across the country. I'm proud to...
No, you're not. You can't steal valor from local law enforcement, shithead. You only deal with interstate crime. Calm the fuck down. The FBI does great work. The marshals do great work. So do ATF and DEA and everybody else. You don't get to just take credit for it because you and Bong Holio were like listening to each other piss through the walls.
To lead it, and if you want to cite media reporting to discredit the men and women of the FBI, go right.
Yeah, they're not. They're not talking about discrediting the men and women of the FBI. They're questioning you, fuckhead. You're the head of the thing. You should be comfortable answering all the questions and not be a brash dickhead about stuff. Why did these assholes whine so much? Fuck you, dude. What? I'll show you because Chris Van Hollen references that, and then he goes into him later.
Right ahead.
Is that Harley Quinn in the background? It's her stunt double.
The target's right here. The mission has never been more successful.
The mission has never been more successful.
Administrator Terrence Cole.
All right. So they go through the statements. All right. There you go. Now we'll go back to this. This is when Van Hollen, I think, asks him about the drinking and
Drug
stuff
enforcement agents.
directly. And this is where he finally wakes up, I guess.
I want to take you back out on the scene and Cash.
Tell you would need to take corrective or discipline to perform his or her duties.
He goes, they cut in the middle of it. But he goes, if somebody under your command was drunk or they were not showing up for work or they were hammered on the job or whatever, you'd have to take corrective measures, would you not?
Because of excessive drinking, you would need to take corrective or disciplinary action. You agree with that statement?
We would implement the inspection review process, just like these other agencies have their own internal investigations, and complete that review.
Of people below me, obviously, not of me, obviously. I serve at the president's leisure, and he's already fired me.
As I said in my opening remarks, I really don't care about your personal life so long
I do. If it's blackmail levels, shouldn't it matter?
as you are
The eternal TPS report, right?
able to perform your public and official
Yes, tell us about that time you were screaming, "What the hell does PC load letter mean?" and throwing shit at the office.
responsibilities, which are awesome responsibilities. Multiple reports, including reporting by The Atlantic, have alleged episodes of excessive drinking, unexplained absences, and behavior that concern current and former FBI and DOJ officials.
By the way, the absences don't concern other former and current FBI officials because him being around is a problem. He's not exactly solving any he's not solving any problems that are in front of him. He's just he is the problem. So if he's drunk at home, like, they got to make sure he's not dead, I suppose, but they don't give a fuck if he shows up on time or at all.
You have publicly denied those allegations and filed a defamation lawsuit. So today, as you testify before Congress, is it your testimony that those allegations are categorically false?
Unequivocally, categorically false.
So
I don't think me. I'm gonna make a note of that you asked me this big jerk.
there have been no occasions during your tenure when FBI personnel were unable to promptly reach you.
Absolutely not. You can ask my entire workforce. They hear from me.
Yeah, they were able to reach me. They were yelling through the door as they banged it in or whatever. They had no trouble reaching me. I had trouble kind of contemplating what room I was in and why my pants were on backwards. But whose vomit is this? All right.
Me at every single hour of the day, as do these great gentlemen here.
No, you don't get to hide behind them. They're not getting asked the question, shithead. They're all qualified. They all came up through the ranks.
As do the men and women of the interagency and state and local law enforcement and the White House.
And so there have been no occasions when your security detail had difficulty waking or locating you. Is that right?
Nope, it's a total farce. I don't even know where you get this stuff, but it doesn't.
Yes, you do. It's been reported in multiple. It's been like at least in the Atlantic, Washington Post followed up. So did the New York Times. Everybody at Fox is talking about it. They're just not doing a piece on it out of a favor to the president. You know exactly where he got it from. So just answer the fucking question.
Doesn't make it credible because you say so.
I'm not saying it, Director Patel. It's been written and documented.
You are literally saying it.
No, I'm
This guy's a lawyer.
saying that these are reports, Director Patel.
No,
and
unlike
I
your
will
baseless
say,
reports,
Director
the only person
Patel,
that was slinging margaritas in El Salvador on the taxpayer dollar with a convicted gangbanging rapist was you.
You know, the
only
fact
person that
of
ran up a
Director
$7,000 bar tab in Washington, D.C. at
This
the lobby bar
suggests to me-
was you. So
this
the only individual
suggests
in
to
this
me that
room
the
that has
allegations
been
are
drinking on
true.
taxpayer dime during
Are
the
you
day
polygraphing?
is you.
By the way, first of all, there's no way that's true, that the only person drinking on the taxpayer's dime in that entire room is Chris Van Hollen. Even if Chris Van Hollen did do that, he's obviously not the only one. Shut up.
Director Patel, come on. These are serious allegations that were made against you. They're in a
allegations
lawsuit
are
that
false.
you filed.
You drinking margaritas with a gangbanger
actually,
is true and on
it
video.
just goes to show you
running a $7,000.
By the way, he was drinking water. That was the whole, they brought those things out. Remember that? He went down there to, the gangbanger he's talking about is the guy who was illegally detained and deported to the jail down there, the ECOT or whatever it was.
$1,000 bar tab at the lobby bar
Patel,
has been filed by your own office.
This goes to show.
Yeah, I'm guessing they probably had a get together there, and it was his office, so the campaign paid for it.
Oh,
Now, you know what? I choose to believe that Chris Van Hollen slammed down $7,000 worth of margaritas, and I don't drink, so that's what, 3? And then came to work.
During the day, that's you.
Mr.
This is the
Chairman,
ultimate example of hypocrisy.
Chairman,
I will not be tarnished by baseless allegations
let me
and
ask
fraudulent statements from the media.
The fact that you mentioned that indicates you don't know what you are talking about. Now, here, Director
The only thing I know is you're the one drinking margaritas with felons.
Actually, that's a false statement, and I'm asking you about your statements.
I've answered that.
And I'm asking you about a particular report. And
it's not a report.
Testimony.
He doesn't mean it. He means it's not a government report.
So let me ask you this.
Can you kick my ass?
Are you willing to take the test, that it's called the audit test, that members of our active duty military and others take to determine whether they have a drinking problem?
I'll take any test you're willing to take.
I will take it, Director Patel. I'll take it. You ready to take it?
Let's go.
Yes or no?
Let's go. Side by side.
I'll take it. All right.
Yes, I great. Now I have the image of these two dickheads peeing in a cup next to each other.
I think that the fact that you're so... Have you ordered polygraph tests of members of your team to determine how that story came about?
The FBI conducts polygraph tests all the time.
No.
Well, that's not a question. That's not an answer to the question he asked, is it? Yeah, that's true. That's the kind of truth you hide behind.
Have you ordered polygraph tests for members of your team to determine who was the source of the stories that I'm asking you about?
I don't order any polygraph tests. There's an internal inspection review process for any and all leaks, especially of baseless information at the FBI, that's been in place for the last 30 years. Those processes are followed by career intelligence and agents on the ground.
And here's the... Yeah, that's the follow-up on this one. That's the Coons pushing back about his trip to the Winter Olympics where he got drunk. This was the other one. Hold on, we'll see. By the way, I want to say, by the way, this is they used an older picture because his eyes look very jaundiced, I would say.
Expand specifically at the FBI. For the first time ever, we stood up our LEPIC, our Law Enforcement Partner Engagement Council. So I didn't want to just hear from police officers from around the country by email and phone call. I embedded 10 officers and sheriffs and tribal officers permanently at the FBI because they're the best connected. And so for us, that's the best way forward, along with getting out into the field and making sure our field partners see and feel us and touch us and tell us.
Well,
what their problems are.
Thank you.
Touch us and tell us what their problems are.
Director.
That's not weird at all.
Senator, more connectivity to our state, local, and tribal partners is the utmost importance at DEA. Due with the significant in women.
Skip ahead to Coons asking the question. There you go.
Local judges who don't have the same intelligence network, the same resources. I'm proud to co-sponsor a bill with Senator John Cornyn that would create a new state Judicial Threat Intelligence and Resource Center. It would provide security assessments for local courts and help local law enforcement make assessments about how to keep judges' homes safe and how to keep court personnel safe. It's passed the Senate unanimously. Do you have any opinion about whether or not the House should take it up and whether or not partnering with state and local court systems would help advance judicial security in this country?
Senator, thank you. Thank you for your work on that. My opinion will be is that any judge that we can keep safe, whether it be in state or the federal bench, we should keep safe.
Brilliant. Thanks, dude. All right, let's go to Coons and here's Patel.
And Grassley to testify before our committee about Section 702.
What I recall, senators, that I've been, we in the FBI team have been providing briefings pursuant to the chairman's request. So we've done at least a dozen in the Senate and at least half a dozen or more in the House, including myself and Director Ratcliffe personally.
Okay. I have not participated in or benefited from any of those briefings and doing.
Yeah. That doesn't mean calling your friends in Congress and telling them what you're doing. That's not a briefing.
Oversight on the reforms that were put in place and how closely they're being followed is critical to my concluding whether or not I'll vote for an extension. Director, I have to ask you one last question. You attended the Olympics in Milan. How much did your trip cost? And to what extent did that help you carry out your mission as director of the FBI?
I greatly appreciate the question, Senator. As you know, the FBI and DHS are responsible for the security of the Olympics, the World Cup, the F1, the Super Bowl, and everything else. We had 250,000 Americans travel to Milan. We're proud that we stood up our jock there and had 0 major security incidents involving American citizens.
Except for you.
And what we did was we purposely planned that trip around the Olympics because, as I mentioned in my opening, the top cyber criminal from the CCP was housed in Italian custody. While there, we were able to work an agreement, an arrangement to have that individual expelled from Italy instead of going back to China, like has so often happened in places like Serbia. Mm-hmm. And so we accomplished that mission and we kept it quiet, and that individual was returned to America 2 weeks ago.
All right. So you had to go for the Winter Olympics to meet in secret about a guy that was returned to the United States 2 weeks ago, and a phone call wouldn't have done it.
I was
you had to go down there and let them touch you.
Concerned that just before we went to war with Iran, a whole group of FBI agents were terminated, about 10, who were reportedly analysts with expertise in handling Iranian counterterrorism, fluent in Farsi, long experienced. I know there's ongoing litigation, but have you replaced them? Was there a reason for their dismissal? Do we have the capability?
Have you seen them? They spoke Arabic stuff. We can't let them in the building. They talk amongst each other.
We need to protect the
We don't understand it.
United States while there's an ongoing war in Iran. The public reporting as to the reasons for their dismissal I found deeply troubling.
Well, as I've addressed earlier, I don't believe the public reporting is accurate. What we did do for the first time in FBI history is stand up the Iran Threats Mission Center that is housed inside the FBI with our Iran experts, including intelligence and analysts and agents. And we have seen a 47% increase in the arrest of Iranian spies.
Do you disagree that there were 10 Iran specialists dismissed right before the war began?
Yeah.
And were any of those 47 that you arrested part of your Iran team?
Yes.
Senator Hagerty.
Hagerty. Yeah, he's so it just stands to reason that Kash Patel more than likely knows this is one of, if not his last sitting before Congress before he's booted. And he didn't say how much it cost anyways. The price is worth it. Would you rather China have a cyber criminal? Would you rather Iran have a nuclear bomb? Every penny is worth it, even if we spend it willy-nilly, if we accomplish our goal that we said was a goal after the fact to justify the cost of the trip. Right. Which didn't happen during the trip. So that just there's a little taste of what was going on today in terms of these assholes. And I got to say, Keg Breath did not fare any better. He just didn't have to face any question about his drinking before he ended up, like in this particular hearing. I guess he dealt with that months ago. But Patel has got this albatross hanging around his neck for the entire thing. Like, and I'll show you real quick where the Pakistani thing about the airplanes. You remember how like Trump was like, the Pakistanis are great, the field marshal's great, the prime minister's great, they're great, everybody's great. Well, apparently Miss Lindsay disagrees, and he's very concerned. He's very concerned, ladies and gentlemen, about this when he's talking to Keg Breath about Graham Slam's Pakistani mediation of Iran war. And it has nothing to do with it ain't working.
Are you aware of reports that Pakistan are allowing their bases to be used to park Iranian aircraft, General Kane?
Sure, I've seen one report on that.
Well, is it accurate?
Sir, I think based on the variety of classification matters.
Let me just say, do you agree if it is accurate, that is sort of inconsistent with it being a peace mediator?
They're not doing their thing.
I wouldn't want to comment on that based on the ongoing negotiations and Pakistan's role.
Secretary Hexton, if the mediator is allowing reconnaissance aircraft in Iran to be parked in Pakistani air bases.
Let's see if the mediator is allowing part at the Senate, and if that's happening, what?
Do you think that's consistent with being a fair mediator?
It's that consistent with being a fair mediator. The mediating that is going on, is it fair? Let's see if but the president says they're great. They're doing great. The field marshal, the prime minister, they're great friends of his. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna play this out. I think I'm gonna go with yes, I think it's fair. Son of a bitch. I was gonna say no. I was on the, what am I gonna do? All right.
I wouldn't want to get in the middle of these negotiations. I want
well, I
maximum
do.
efficacy
I
for
want
our
to get in the
people.
middle of these negotiations. I don't trust Pakistan as far as I can throw them. If they actually do,
and I am willing to try,
have Iranian aircraft parked in Pakistan bases to protect Iranian military assets, that tells me we should be looking maybe for somebody else to mediate. No one.
Well, we already had the Qatari folks, and then Tucker went over there and bought land, and they gave Trump an airplane. So maybe that's your idea of fair. Let's see. Is that his idea of fair? Is it if they give the president an airplane, would that be more or less fair? More or less fair than allowing the Iranians to park their airplane on the Pakistanis doing that? I'm gonna go. Shit. I'm gonna go with. Can I phone a friend? No. I'm gonna go with less fair. Shit. I don't know. It's such a. It's like percentages, man. It's such a narrow margin.
No wonder this damn thing is going nowhere.
Oh, I know that has nothing to do with the Pakistanis. It's the Iranians and our leadership. They're both arrogant dickheads with dreams of ruin the world. So we're all kind of fucked in this. This has nothing to do with who mediates this. This is a shit show from day one. Trump and the Iranians want to go out in a blaze of glory because they don't think they'll be the ones, catching lead. They just don't.
So, I appreciate all you've done. I'm very supportive of it. But when it comes to Pakistan and China, enough already.
Yeah, enough. I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you, Miss Lindsay. So that's what I was referencing earlier with the report that came out with the Pakistanis letting them park their reconnaissance planes. It's it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the panic, I guess. It's all out of our hands anyways, right? And let's see. Patty Murphy goes after Kash Patel. All right, there's no way I'm dipping into that shit. I'm just not but yeah, we have to, don't we? Hold on. All right, this is live though. Do I dare? The other shooting, the media forgot. I gotta say, Candace Owens over here, this lady right here. Let me show you. This lady, she's just not done picking a fight with the Trump administration because is that Erica Kirk or just another blonde? It's hard to tell. Evergreen High School, and then this business, along with I guess this is a reference to the Butler fight thing, and again, anatomically correct. It's got the nunt, it's got the big pot belly, and his ear is fine. So nailed it. To whoever that sculptor is, you got the job, buddy. So let's see, what does go on in Colorado?
Harpole has all but confirmed our reporting in his court filing against me. Look at what he wrote regarding Karis Bible. He said, according to Owens's supposed tipster.
This is Karis Bible College claiming it was odd that Harpole's team planned Kirk's security strategy review 2 weeks in advance, but failed to contact chief of police with planned security for those. Owens specifically asked, why didn't Dan Flood and Brian Harpole and Turning Point USA have coordination with police departments and they normally do? Harpole did not coordinate with Karis Bible College nor the Woodland Police Department because he was not advised that Charlie would be visiting the school. It was not uncommon for Charlie to visit universities with only Dan Flood. So why wouldn't Dan Flood do the thing then?
There was, quote, no Kirks to contact Owens with any.
People are nuts.
Then they put in.
All right, so she's just relitigating her shit. But I want to know what's going on in Colorado. What is going on? What is going on in Colorado? I'm worried that she's going to have an ad.
because it looks like the internet was right again.
Uh-oh. About canned ass.
I still have a lot of questions about Victor Marx. You know, I went off to Italy to do my confirmation.
His skid to his friends.
Got distracted. I had mentioned to you that despite him doing all those public posts about me, he didn't respond to my...
Okay, this is just Real Housewives of Maggot Town bullshit. She's just going to be like badgering back and forth between her and TPUSA. We'll check back in with her later because we got a lot of other stuff to cover, not the least of which is apparently Maganomics is having 220, 221, whatever it takes, Doug. Exactly. Maganomics is having a rough one of the economy right now. The old affordability, my affordability hoax is a bit of an issue for them, needless to say. And we got Jack So Be It on I don't know, Bridge Trolls show. I don't know why. I don't know how Bridge Trolls get shows, but apparently they can on RAV. They just hand them right out. And anyways, Jack is talking to this Bridge Troll about if President Trump brings back manufacturing, brings manufacturing flooding back to America, we become the consumer power and the manufacturing power. China gets shut out. That's why decoupling matters. So on the eve of the day of Trump leaving to go to China, they're arguing for total decoupling. Now, you have to remember that Steve Bannon was with Guo Wenguai, who was a fake Chinese dissident who was working for the Chinese government. And whether Bannon was being suckered by this or actually knew that the guy was a fake dissident doesn't matter. It was just a money-making scam. Anyways, he's gone. And here's Posobiec basically explaining.
Sometimes the most generous companies.
Hold on. Why are we? Hold on. I don't. No, I don't. Don't do that. Don't. Why would you do such a thing? Oh, it's opening up another window. I see. Go away. This is an ad. This is I guess a Crowder ad.
Out there, the most generous organizations are actually private companies that save you money. Josh,
how's the morning going, sir?
Oh, it's going swimmingly.
It's going swimmingly. Just like the Iran war.
What can you say? We just had Tante was at the Maha Moms event.
We just had Tante.
Bobby Kennedy last night.
Sorry, was everybody drunk today in Washington? Is everybody drunk? Or is this just like... Do they all have heat stroke? Are they drunk in the sun?
We see the president's taken off for China here. And people...
China.
Remember, though, over at Human Events, we did the China Files just a couple of years ago, and that built out the research for what became the China section, which is really the heart, the spine.
Yes, it was the China Files that built the China section, and they're moving straight into the China elbow, into the which is connected to the shoulder bone.
Of that book on humans, but we went through the history of the Chinese Communist Party. We understood we called him the Red Emperor, how he has taken his cult of
Unhumans, the secret history of communist revolutions and how to crush them with Steve Bannon did the foreword. So it's scratch and sniff.
Personality to new levels, the purges, what he calls. So, for example, we had the Chinese Communist Revolution in the 1940s. Then you had the Cultural Revolution in the 1960s. And what has Xi Jinping embarked on since he took power in 2012? He calls it the self-revolution, Steve. The self-revolution.
Well, that's, sometimes you just need a little self-revolution time. You need to sit in the tub.
Whereby he is
bubbles, a lot of bubbles.
Constantly purging the highest ranks of not just the party, but also the military, the regions, the provinces, the big cities, Chongqing, etc., all around China to install his leaders and people and
yeah, it's the CCP. This is how they always do it. He was actually a little slower on the uptake than other people.
Politicians, members of the party that are totally loyal to Xi Jinping all along the way up. And we haven't seen
until they aren't
this kind of consolidation since Mao. Now, what does that mean? That means that he's got to be the one in the driver's seat. He's got to deliver. And so
right, and he's one of the single dumbest leaders they've ever had.
All this talk, and I saw CNBC, and they're saying, okay, so China has been winding down. Why is China's growth slower? It's slower because of the tariff policy of President Trump.
No, it isn't. It's because they're on a doom cycle and they have a shit economy. It's not the tariffs.
Was working and
when and which ones? There were so many fucking carve outs. It didn't amount to shit.
has been working for so much as long as the courts have allowed him to keep them in.
Bullshit. People have been moving their business out of China since COVID, specifically because of that. Because if in the next pandemic, no matter how much money you save on, on getting stuff fabricated there or assembled there or whatever, if there's another COVID because they're slapdash with their fucking viral labs, and there will be because they don't give a shit, how much is it going to cost you in the back end? You might make money for a little while, but it's going to sweep, tens of billions of dollars out of your bank account in a matter of days. That's why their economy's crashing, on top of the demographic problem and
power. That is why our trade relationship with China is finally starting to rebalance for the benefit of the American people.
No, it isn't. We're just buying less shit from them, stupid. They're not buying more stuff from us.
Why is the Midwest gutted? Why was the Midwest and the Northeast deindustrialized? And why does Shenzhen look the way that it does, and Shanghai and all the rest of it? Because that's your money. That's your American dollars.
No, it isn't. Because all the money that was made outside of manufacturing is American money too. That's why during the time that we lost the manufacturing, where it moved to other places, and a lot of it went to Mexico, Canada, and other places, it didn't all go to China. The industry built up in China for an area that just didn't exist. We never had like laptop factories in the United States. It switched over there through the normal elevation of a new technology. But beyond that, the primary reason why we buy a bunch of shit from them and why our trade imbalance is so much is that they're the wholesaler and we're the retailer. We send stuff there to get it assembled. They send it back cheaply and we sell it to the rest of the world. Our economy has, quintupled. Ask Trump.
That were used with the foreign direct investment to build up China to where it is. And President Trump's the only one who's
build it up to where it is, on the verge of collapse.
Called these people out. So yes, he's bringing the CEOs over, but I would argue, Steve, it's because it's finally
so they could tell everybody at Foxconn to pack their shit.
Time to get the tariffs back on board and
back. He can't get the tariffs back on board, shithead. If we're being attacked, if they're flooding our market with something that we make and they're doing it unfairly, then the president can do tariffs on that kind of stuff. But that's not what's happening at all. These are American companies making American shit over there and then shipping it to the rest of the fucking world.
Dismantle this ridiculous system of globalism, which is not working.
Do you think that's going to happen when you're hearing the rumors that they want to give licenses to the Chinese to put automobiles, to sell automobiles in the United States, and or to build their own data centers, or to basically make investment in manufacturing that would actually own American soil, sir?
I don't know if he's for this or against it. I'm having trouble reading his tone.
Look, Steve, I've seen all these rumors, but these rumors are generated from media. They're not generated from the White House. They're not generated from...
Oh, so you talk to the White House then at Human Events Daily?
The President of the United States, and we know that there's only been one...
By the way, is that an AI-generated title? What did you do? Go, no, more generic. More generic than that. Yeah, like if you were doing news in a TV show in the 80s and you didn't want to run into any copyright issues whatsoever, and you basically wanted kind of a generic, like, can of beans with the blue stripe, what would you name your... All right.
One man who's been talking about China on the national stage since all the way back 2011, 2012. That's Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, about how big of a friend he is with them. His sons were over there doing business in those years. They still are. The first carve-outs for the tariffs were Ivanka's fucking garbage clothing line.
He talked about it so much in 2016 that there were memes mocking him for how much he was talking about China, but he was 100% right to put China front and center because this...
All right, again, what do you mean front and center? Dude, he's acquiescing to everything they want. You're an idiot.
Is the head of the dragon.
That's how we won 2016. We shifted the conversation.
You mean lied?
In the last 90 days, particularly in Wisconsin, Michigan, and in your beloved state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And guess what? The working class in Ohio and Iowa, people out there got the joke. You didn't have to go into
China's a
some
four-letter
long-
word out there.
5.
Jack Posobiec, do you agree? Captain Fennell just said that we're militarily and economically superior. President Trump's got
One of these things is not like the other.
those cards. The New York Times, Wall Street Journal, everything I'm reading is that, oh, we're kind of the supplicant here. We're on our back foot. The rise of China, China's manufacturing is
Sorry, are you reading Wall Street Journal from 2009?
incredible, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Are the unhumans in the Chinese Communist Party superior to us, sir?
I think that's a loaded question as well.
Steve, no, they're not superior.
Oh, thank you for answering that. Thank God.
To us, and it's really simple. They can't innovate the way that we innovate. They can't create the way that we create. Their system is this unhuman system, and that was built on the backs of the slave labor of the Chinese people, the slave labor of the Lao Baijing, the slave labor of the hundreds of millions of Chinese people who are still living in day.
Sorry, the Lao Baijing.
They can't innovate the way that we innovate. They can't create the way that we create. Their system is this unhuman system, and that was built on the backs of the slave labor of the Chinese people, the slave labor of the Lao Baijing, the slave labor of
the old white people. Right.
Hundreds of millions of Chinese people who are still living in day-to-day poverty. They live in the shadows because of the hukou system, and they don't even have papers to be able to work in places like Shanghai and Shenzhen, as opposed to these impoverished areas, which are still all across the entire countryside. And there are protests all the time within China that are put down. You don't hear about it because it doesn't make any of the Western papers. But
right, and Trump's not going to bring up any of it. As a matter of fact, he says, well, shit, hold on. Yesterday, let's check Jack Posobiec's math real quick. What do you think? You think Trump is upset at how workers are treated in China? Let's see. Let's see. I think yeah, here you go. Not only does he think that Xi Jinping runs the country with an iron fist, but it's a pretty iron fist. That's right. I didn't know if you know that, but it's true.
He's a great gentleman. I find him to be an amazing man. And when I say that, the press always says, "Oh, that's terrible that he called him." He runs 1.4 billion people with a pretty iron fist. He's
So it's not quite an iron fist. It's pretty iron. Also, not 1.4 billion people.
He loves his country. I can tell you that, President Xi.
No, he does not.
I look forward to being there. And if he felt anything, we wouldn't be doing it.
If he felt anything, we wouldn't be doing it. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
But a lot of good things can happen. Now, we'll be talking about, he'll bring up Taiwan, I think, more than I will. But
no doubt.
I think that
you mean not at all?
A discussion will be a little bit about energy and about the very beautiful country of Iran.
Have you heard of it?
And by the way, Iran is a beautiful country, but it's got people running it now that shouldn't be there, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way about my country.
President, just a couple questions. Outside of these,
and I've had
yeah. So the pretty iron fist part. Apparently, Jack Posobiec, Trump thinks it's pretty impressive, actually, that he has enslaved large portions of his country and that they live below the poverty line, and that the whole anti-poverty move in China has been largely bullshit. The idea that people the standard is $400 a week. I believe if in China, if you live on less than $400 a week, you're considered impoverished. So they moved everybody from 400 to 401. And now, ta-da, poverty is solved. Let's see. This is, we're going to go to here. And this is the theory about what's going to happen when Trump goes to China from probably I'm sorry, not probably, the dumbest member of Congress. I mean, there's some crazy ones and there's some psycho racist ones, but in pound for pound idiocy, Comer's your man.
China can produce some goods that we could never produce anywhere near as cheap as China, and that's good for American consumers who go to Dollar General store and go to Walmart like I do. But
yeah. For what? Your nootropics?
Also, I don't think we should depend on China for anything important to our national security. We should produce all of our pharmaceuticals in the United States. We should produce all of our food in the United States. But we need China to buy some soybeans and tobacco and other products.
Also, what food are we getting from China besides, like, I guess, pot noodles and shit like that, like sauces from there, actual Chinese food?
Products that are grown in my home state of Kentucky. So there are a lot of things on the table. This is a very important meeting. China has the message. They know President Trump's record. He'll double the tariffs on China if this meeting doesn't.
He can't. It's already been found to be illegal, stupid. It doesn't matter how they know this, by the way. They know that's one of the reasons why the Iran leverage is Trump's new tariff.
Go according to plan in their eyes. So I would like to see China to stop buying oil from Iran, but that's probably not a realistic goal to be achieved by President Trump. But I'm sure he's going to, he's the art of the deal guy. He's going to.
No, he's not.
Probably throw that on the table, and who knows? He may get a lot of wins.
Yeah, probably. He probably will. Probably get a lot of wins. I mean, he basically has all the wins. 100%. 100%. We're going to lots of wins. We had him basically before he leaves. I don't even know why he left. I don't even know why he could have done it from here. He's got such a good relationship with Xi Jinping. I mean, look at how everything went in COVID, in, what was it, April, when he was saying that he trusts Xi Jinping and it's going to go away soon. He believed what Xi told him, and he was handling it in his country very professionally. This is, of course, when China was building prisons and telling the world they were hospitals. You are a dipshit. So hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Megaworldwide, by the way. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Venmo's a great way to support the show. That little guy over there, if you want to buy me a cup of coffee or help out the show on my vertical, it's right here. There you go. You can take a picture of that with your phone. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks. Great way to support the show. Appreciate it a ton. Now, there was this, there's so much idiocy. Yeah, we watched Trump. I saw somebody asking in the chat. We watched Trump flip out earlier. And again, all of his statements are going nowhere. None of this is going to amount to a hill of beans. I will say that for everybody who is, I don't know if you guys have seen Mitch McConnell lately, but damn, son. What's the phrase I'm looking for? It's right here.
Not good.
Yeah, not yeah. Well, here I'll show you. This is pretty rough. He's the chairman of the committee that Hegseth is talking to, and there you go. Oops, why is it not moving? It's taking its sweet time. And 3, 2, 1. Come here, you. Get in your screen. What are you doing? I'll have to go back to the other screen, then come back, see if it wakes up. There we go. Go back. There you go. Now it's there. Yeah. Ouch. Turtles can live a long time. Oh, yup. So, this is Mitch McConnell. Brings me to the bad news. Mitch McConnell calls out failure in the budget request to Hegseth.
Everyone, the subcommittee will come to order.
Yep.
Secretary Hegseth, General Kane, welcome. Look forward to discussing the President's budget, and we appreciate the opportunity to do that today. Obviously, we have very good attendance.
Yes, it's a big fancy audience. Very nice. Everyone's very well dressed. And they brought snacks. Do you want pudding or Jell-O?
Today, the need for significant defense investments is as urgent and obvious as it is overdue. Quantity has a quality of its own, and the sheer scale of our defense commitments sends a powerful signal. But what goes under the top line also matters. The way this budget request is structured matters.
By the way, he is speaking very slowly, and it's very tired, and he sounds very old, and he is. But all the points he makes are rock solid. Now, if that's staff drafting it for him, or he sits there and whittles this out himself, it's nobody. I don't know. You don't know. But Hegseth is probably just biding time, I guess.
This is not a $1.5 trillion defense appropriation request. It's a request for $1.1 trillion in base appropriations, and regretfully, another $350 billion in reconciliation. The good news is the base request reflects real growth, unlike the net cut in fiscal year 26 request, and very much unlike the Biden level CR in 25. But some of the most pressing items on the fiscal 27 to-do list are regularly downstream of missed opportunities in fiscal 26.
By the way, this is why most people don't watch the government on C-SPAN.
For example, like the failure to fully fund $28 billion in multi-year contracts for critical munitions. The subcommittee did what we could to increase munition purchases above the fiscal 26 request levels, but we couldn't do it all without a sufficient top line. This year, the fiscal 27 request.
He may actually die during this thing. Yeah.
Sets a higher top line, high enough, one would think, to build the department's highest priorities into the base budget request. And
this is so bad. Susan Collins is like, "Are you going to be okay?"
Instead of shunning them off into a one-time reconciliation request. Which brings me to the bad news. The 27 request fails to make room in the base budget for some of the military's top priorities. It is.
Yeah, you heard that right. That's the key point. They're asking for $1.5 billion, 1.175 in base appropriations, and then another 325 or 350 in the reconciliation package to round that part of it out. And they're still not replacing the stuff they're using in Iran and elsewhere, where Trump is going, "We've got more ammunition than before we started," which is insane, obviously. And he's like, "We've got munitions, we've got it all over the place. We found a bunch in Germany. We found a bunch." So we're pilfering other bases for the munitions that they would have for readiness to put into this shit, and I guess to build up our stocks over the last little bit with all the airplanes that have been flying through there.
Distinction between base.
That's because that's clearly what we're doing. We're not actually. These aren't real peace talks.
And reconciliation really matters. Base funding is what creates budget stability for the services and sends consistent demand signals
to
industry. And base funding is what gets extended by short-term continuing resolutions.
Right, which is what they're going to have to do to carry the spending forward, because they won't be able to go back and do the reconciliation. So if you want 1.5 and you can't get it, what you do is you split it up with the base growth of 1.175, and then you throw the other stuff in the reconciliation package, which you probably won't be able to do unless we're at war, which is why Operation Freedom is going to be turned into Operation Operation Epstein Fury 2.5.
When work on a full year appropriations is unfinished. As I said last year, reconciliation should be a supplement to, not a substitute for, political realities.
Thank you very much. Political.
Will not always allow for party line budget reconciliation. And if the department's top priorities aren't built into annual appropriations, we're actually taking a big risk. The department is right to make Golden Dome munitions, and the F-35 program and drone dominance top priorities. But these key lines of effort only work if we put them on solid fiscal footing.
Right. Which they, I guess does he eventually? No, this is his whole statement. They don't get to the part where Hegseth answers, if at all. Point being is that Trump they shoved all of that Golden Dome shit in there, and right about the time when they need drone dominance more than anything else. The idea that we're going to have missile defense just in a shield around the United States instead of extended into Europe, where it would actually do some good because of where these launches would happen. And basically, the Golden Dome is just bullshit. It's meant to build up a missile defense on the west coast of America and Hawaii and Alaska, essentially, and in other countries over there. Maybe if we extend it to South Korea or Japan, I suppose, or just submarines in the area, more than likely. But this idea that like it's all the ones that would be East Coast and Greenland and all that shit would be the stuff we would have put in Europe, but Russia told Trump no. That's essentially it. And so the Golden Dome is necessary in their minds because there's no way we're going to get missile defense in Europe because Trump will do anything that Putin says. I hope that wrapped up largely what this asshole was getting at. Oh, I got to say, I don't know what's worse. If Chris Van Allen was drunk at some point at work, which I don't think he was, but like Kash Patel threw around, he'll be sober the next day. This is permanent. Same thing with Trump. Man. Yes, for the prospective wars to come. Yeah, I'm sick of gold as well. All right, real quick, how are we doing on time? We're good. Okay. So this, yeah, here we go. Dink. I want to grab another clip here because that one's a little dated. Yeah, here you go. So this is, remember how the peanut butter dickhead guys were saying how awesome Ron Paul is? Well, I got news for you. Ron Paul is probably harder on this budget than anybody, including the Democrats, largely because he wants to audit the Fed and largely because he's a Russian sock puppet. Let's not forget that. Again, broken clock moment, perhaps. But this is his weekly report on the $1.5 trillion military budget. It's a gift to the grifters, is what he says. And it's nice that they have a cartoon version of him that was drawn up, a little AI thing they made. From a picture from, what do you think, 2001?
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to
I'm glad to be here.
The weekly report.
By the way, it might be strange for some of you to see this because normally he's standing with a pitchfork next to his goodly wife. Yeah, this is Ron Paul, not Rand Paul. Rand Paul is the one with the squirrel on his head.
A $1.5 trillion military budget is a gift to the grifters.
It certainly is. Squangly doodle. Also, he's 90, by the way, and more articulate than McConnell, clearly. I don't know. Well, McConnell's had a couple of strokes. Some of them we've actually seen live.
Last week, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth insulted Americans by claiming that a 50% increase in the U.S. military budget from an incomprehensible $1 trillion to an impossible $1.5 trillion was a fiscally responsible investment.
Yeah, I didn't buy it. I don't think anybody I know bought it, but sure.
Thanks to President Trump's $1.5 trillion defense budget, this War Department has moved from bureaucracy to business, he said last Thursday.
Right. Yeah, by the way, they want to run the military like a business. So we could attack people for profit, for fun and profit. How to kill people for fun and profit. A new book by Pete Kegbreath.
In a way, he was right. The huge increase is much more about business than what it is needed to protect the United States from potential invasion.
By the way, those are the kind of frames that a 90-year-old person has on their bookshelf. I'm just saying. There's nothing phony going on back there. Take notes, Ben Shapiro.
But it isn't the kind of business that most supporters of free markets would applaud. On the contrary,
You mean government contracts?
this is the business of transferring massive amounts of wealth from the struggling middle and working classes to the well-connected beltway elite based on lies and scare tactics.
Yeah, but you say that like it's a bad thing. I mean, that's basically what Trump ran on. You don't think that the White House is gold leafing itself?
The U.S. mainstream media is crucial in manufacturing the fairy tale that if we don't mortgage our children and grandchildren's future to finance this obscene military budget, we will be attacked or invaded by some evil foreign power.
Yeah, I don't see MS Now and by and large CNN saying that. I think you're talking about Fox. So why don't you call them out by name?
It's not difficult to do a little research and see why the mainstream and even some independent media outlets
Mm-hmm. You know who you are, Stephen Chowder.
Push these scare tactics. They are owned or funded by giant corporations with close ties to military contractors.
Wow. All I got to say is Amy Goodman looks like shit.
This unhealthy relationship is known as corporatism, the intermingling of pseudo-private companies with the government. It is the precursor to actual fascism, where the government takes a
way ahead of you, buddy.
Stake in such companies. We're getting there faster than most Americans understand.
Well, no, yeah, but I'm not most Americans. Thank you very much. And neither are my the people in my chat room. Some of the maggots in my chat room might be a little slow on the uptake. They have shown themselves to be. It's a little sad, but we trust they'll come around. We trust they'll come around. It's interesting to me that that Biden's $1 trillion military budget didn't. Oh, right, that didn't happen. He didn't have one of those.
The whole scam is not about protecting the citizens of the United States.
We know.
It's about protecting the U.S. empire overseas, which actually harms the citizens of the United States.
I guess you just mean the expenditures.
Yes, they
okay, good. I thought I was right. I was probably. It took me a second to figure out what the fuck you were talking about, but I don't think they were going to fire missiles at us, so I kind of defaulted back to it's hitting us in the pocketbook. Yeah.
Us to fund the empire and lie to us that it keeps us safe. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Well, lots of things can be further from the truth, certainly, but it's certainly a lie.
Our constant military interventions on
Here's Jim, big mauled by a line, right? Mutual love, oh my highest peepholes, you can count on when the going's rough.
Virtually every continent of the globe.
Marlon Perkins, everybody. So whoever tipped me off to that in the room, in the chat room, just aged all of us.
Only builds resentment among the rest of the world's population.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who thinks people overseas welcome U.S. bombs has been watching too much Fox News or reading too much Washington Post.
Damn. He went straight for the Bezos paper, too.
And what do we get for the most expensive military on earth? Larger than combined militaries of the next dozen or so countries.
Right, I know. That was a point I've been making
Not
for quite
much.
some time.
Iran's military budget is less than 1% of ours, yet Iran destroyed or disabled every U.S. military base in the Middle East.
That's a little overselling it, but they certainly could.
It turns out that Iran has destroyed dozens of multi-million-dollar U.S. spy drones and several near $1 billion spy radar stations with their own drones costing a mere thousands of dollars each. The U.S. surprise.
I love his pause when they go to the next page on the teleprompter. It's a moment of peace that I think we all can enjoy. It may seem like mere seconds to us, but it's years in his head.
Attack was supposed to make Iran cower and beg for mercy, but it did the opposite.
I think he meant cower, not collar, but okay.
It showed that despite the trillions extorted from Americans for the most expensive military on earth, the U.S. military can no longer win the wars that U.S. presidents illegally forced them into fighting.
Well, I mean, we obviously could, but we'd have to just obliterate everybody. You could only do it through attrition, and obviously even Trump doesn't currently have the appetite for that, although he did move a nuke sub in and had it surface with basically adding the threat on top of it. Now, we know the last time when he moved 3 ships into the area, that was just a threat for the deal, and he didn't actually, oh shit, right, he actually did end up using them and then moving more troops in. So I guess we should be concerned about the nuclear sub. Here, that's the elf who sold me cookies from a tree. Yes, that's him.
The U.S. military continues to fight World War II with massively expensive aircraft carriers that do not dare get close to combat, while war fighting has evolved into something entirely different.
That's right. Pea shooters all the way.
The only good thing about the Iran war is that it demonstrates how much the special interests have lied to us about the need to continue our suicidal military spending increases. It was never about protecting the United States.
Damn. So anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that this guy sounds like he should be on Democracy Now! And this guy still holds a lot of, I think there's probably, I don't know, certainly all the fiscally conservative maggots in the House and the Senate will credit Ron Paul for getting them on the, on the conservative, hardline budgetary train that they all think they're on. Now they're all lying, obviously. The Chip Roys and all that crowd, the minute they're told to lay off going after Trump for, the budget, they do in a second, and they'll bitch sideways and never get around to actually voting against any of the stuff. There's here it is. Here's Chip Roy. He's talking about voters right now. He's talking about the Democrats aren't worried about black voters being discriminated against. They're worried about losing they're worried about losing leftist Marxist power. That's the actual truth. Right,
there are 2 types of people who should avoid taking gabapentin.
Don't bake your foot.
Anyone
Don't do
who
it.
wants to keep
do
both
not deep
legs
fry your
healthy.
foot like
Anyone
a donut.
Chip Roy joins us now. Chip, defense of the Constitution. This is what I failed to get.
By the way, remember how Chip Roy used to be every fucking where when Trump first took over in the second term, and now he's effectively persona non grata?
The Supreme Court 6-3 upheld the constitutional order. This is clearly, these DEI districts are
DEI districts
rapidly unconstitutional. You're running for the Attorney General of Texas. You're a constitutional expert. You won the consciences in the House right now.
Yes, which means he's impotent and has no power
on the Constitution. What doesn't the left get about we have to defend the constitutional order and that these districts are totally and completely unconstitutional?
Well, good morning, Steve. The truth is, what they don't get is they don't get that the Constitution is what controls, because all they care about is power.
Yeah, and thank God Trump doesn't care about power.
They say things like the rule of law, like in that last clip. The fact of the matter is the rule of law here would actually suggest that having race-based gerrymandering is the problem. In fact, Clarence Thomas said it better than any of the other justices, as you.
Right, but Clarence Thomas is trying to take on anti-miscegenation laws so he can divorce his wife without owing her a dime.
Usual, when he said Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act should have nothing to do with districting. We've been living under that for 60 years, and
you've been benefiting from it because it's allowed you to create hyper-red districts in these areas. While, yes, it created one black district where they'd have a member of the Congressional Black Caucus in that area. It's watered down the vote in the rest of these areas, and so you were able to get these hardcore maggots that support Trump in 3 or 4 districts around them because they didn't have to deal with the voters in that one district. Guess what, dummy?
Been creating race-based districts contrary to the Constitution of the United States. And, heard the complaints about Tennessee that, oh my gosh, what's happening? A white guy, an old white guy, Steve Cohen, is the representative for that supposedly black Senator district out of Memphis. They don't care about anything but power.
Okay, first of all, those voters, black people don't just vote for black people. That's what your kind of white people do. Maybe that's why you're confused.
Fact is, if you go back 20 years ago, you'll remember this. Some of us, a very small group of us, were instrumental in stopping the Bush nomination of Harriet Miers. Now, I wish her well. She's a nice lady, but she was not prepared to be a Supreme Court justice. It took some of us throwing down, freezing the Senate Judiciary Committee when I was a lawyer on the Judiciary Committee.
So you could get highly qualified people like Brett Kavanaugh, who, by the way, Trump can't even pronounce his fucking name. Hold on, is that one in here? I'm fairly certain we have it around. Yeah.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh.
And then giving it time, and a few days later, Harriet was removed, and we got Sam Alito. Now imagine how things would be different over the last 20 years if we hadn't done that. Leadership matters.
Better?
In the Voting Rights Act, I was filing minority views, laying out the unconstitutionality of the Voting Rights Act 20
minority views for the majority
years ago. We knew Section 5 was unconstitutional, which bore out in 2012 in the Supreme Court opinion, saying you can't use 50-year-old data to make states have to go pre-clear with the Department of Justice.
Well, they didn't. They were basically saying that these states will go back to doing exactly what they were doing before the Voting Rights Act, which was unconstitutional if you allow them, and they did.
Now, finally, the court has taken race-based gerrymandering out of our maps. Now Democrats are flipping out because we added 5 seats in Texas. DeSantis added 4 in Florida. Now we got 1 in Tennessee. We're hopefully going to get a few more from other states. Virginia's Supreme Court did the right thing and struck down that absurd map. The rule of law is actually governing. The people should be able to choose their representatives in a Republican form of government. South Carolina elected Tim Scott.
Right. And he's black, so there you go.
They are worried about leftist Marxist power, not blacks being discriminated against. That's the actual truth.
Well, no, I mean, you're definitely going to broom out in the redistricting does not affect Democratic seats. It affects the Congressional Black Caucus more than any other thing. And one black senator on the Republican side in your history, what are like one of 2? It may be just one, does not qualify as you're handling diversity, that's representative of the electorate.
So, Chip, I want to go back to the Alito because folks think about that for a second. Justice Alito, who's been...
I'm sorry, I don't know how much longer I can look at his scaly skin.
Been really such a savior and just an amazing, amazing, amazing man, what he's done. It would have been Harriet Miers. George F. Will, who I'm no fan of, but had the greatest quote when that first happened. He said, if you took the top 1,000 constitutional lawyers in the country and had them put together individually their top 1,000 choices, in that mass list, Harriet Miers' name would not be on it of what a joke it was. How big a fight was it?
Right, because you're Republicans. What he's saying is there is no way a black woman would ever end up on the Supreme Court if Republicans had anything to say about it, even if their own president said she was eminently qualified. Again, this is what they're bragging about. And what else are you going to do? What are you going to talk about? The economy? You're going to talk about how well it's going? You're going to talk about how Republicans are racing towards another mandate because voters love what they're doing? Of course not. You got to talk about this. You got to talk about how your wins are coming from redistricting, not from actually, earning the support of the voters that exist. You have to break up other groups so that you can, in theory, win seats. The problem that they're going to have, especially in the areas where they already had their primaries, is that they're going to be running somebody who is expecting this district to be bright red, and it isn't. It's not going to be anymore.
Was it to get Alito on the court?
It was a huge fight. Remember, we had just had the Chief Justice Roberts. We had 2 openings. It was kind of chaos, and some of us just said, look, we spent our whole legal careers trying to fight for this moment to have a Supreme Court that will actually do the right thing. And now you're going to roll the dice with someone who's unproven and that we believe wouldn't be that solid.
Because she's female and because she's black.
So we had to go freeze out.
Or sorry, let me make sure. Hold on. We're talking about the same person. I'm going to bring this up. Give me a second. Where did my mouse go? Sorry. Harriet Myers, I'm thinking of the wrong person. I'll show you. Why is that? Why does the search not want to work there? It's weird. Okay. Let's. Okay. I'm going to have to go to the. There you go. There you go. Yeah, Harriet wasn't black; she was white. But I don't know why I was picturing Tubman in my head as a joke. That's where my head was going. This is. I'll show you Harriet Myers, real quick. She was. There you go. She was Bush's White House counsel, and this is why. One of the key things on this. Beg your pardon. Sorry about the brain fart there. Harriet Myers. This is another example of how Trump is a typical Republican. Harriet Myers was George Bush's White House counsel. You know, like Trump has tried to do this with multiple people. It's why he put, Todd Blanche in as AG. He elevates people who are his own personal attorney to, the federal bench if he can, or makes them, DAs when they're not qualified or AGs. And it seems new because Trump is so full of shit and so blazingly corrupt in everything that he does that people forget that this is something that Republicans have been doing for a very long time. And the idea of putting your own White House counsel in as your presidential, as a SCOTUS has long been, a Republican trick to try and load the judiciary with cult members, essentially. She's the White House staff secretary, White House deputy chief of staff. Then she was, he nominated her to be an associate justice to replace Sandra Day O'Connor. And she served as his White House counsel from 2005 to 2007. That was the point, was put somebody in place that you could basically program to do whatever the fuck you wanted. Right on. That's awesome. Sure, that's really sweet. Yay. Chick Can 4 is coming to the Wadsworth show for Nerd Halen in Akron next week. Awesome. Which I'll remind everybody about. But Harriet Myers was another example of Republican sort of crony control over the government and the attempt by George W. Bush to plant his White House counsel on the SCOTUS. The fact that they push back against her, that there's a silver lining to sexism sometimes, and that's what it was really about. Was Republicans were against her not because it didn't bother them at all that she was White House counsel. It bothered them that she was a woman, and that was enough to keep her off. There we go. Boop. Okay, cool. I'm getting notifications that are 2 days old. That's always fun when that happens. So sorry about the brain fart. I wanted to clarify that. So,
the Judiciary Committee members, we as staffers, as lawyers, say, guys, stop, wait, and go sit down and look at a record. Do not pledge your vote. Do not put it out publicly. And we basically ran a secret campaign for about a week. Actually, it became not so secret, so much so that the Bush team had to come down and have a meeting with just us as staffers trying to convince us. And we just...
Gee, it's almost like when Trump brought Boebert into the Situation Room to try to scare her into not voting for the discharge petition.
Lit into him. So what Supreme Court case has she ever been a part of? What would give us anything to believe that she would be a rock star like Scalia or Thomas?
Well, that might be the problem because Scalia and Thomas were a pain in the ass for the Republicans.
And the answer was nothing.
Until, obviously, the war came along.
So at the end of the
day, they were glad they had him.
President Bush thankfully pulled her name because, again, I'm not trying to disparage her. She's a really, really fantastic human being, but just did not have any business being on the Supreme Court.
because of the whole Xi thing.
Sam Alito was the right choice. We've gotten numerous great opinions because of Sam Alito, a great guy on law enforcement, a great guy on Fourth Amendment and on our rights, a great guy on obviously getting the right opinion on Roe versus Wade, and now this opinion on the ridiculousness of these sections.
That's the other thing too, is that Harriet Myers was going to call balls and strikes and was not rock solid on abortion.
2 of the Voting Rights Act, and it should not be race-based. And the court and the country is better off for having Sam Alito. It's one of the things I'm most proud of. Leadership matters when you have to set the stage and look down the table. Whether it was the
I'm over time.
speakers fight. Remember, 3.5.
And by the way, Chip Roy is basically bowing out of Congress because he's useless there at this point. Let me show you this real quick. This is Jack Keane talking to Mark Levin, Mr. Producer. Where if any kind of deal comes in Iran, it's bad.
Okay, I probably shouldn't say this here, but
You shouldn't
see how
say
perfect
it.
this looks? It's not
weird.
by accident. These
It's 'cause
big
you're
grocery
AI
chains
and
don't want
so
you
is
seeing
that.
This, but watch what happens.
Welcome back, America. We have somebody very familiar to you, and that's a good thing because he's a great man.
Yes, familiarity. It breeds contempt in this case.
Retired 4-star.
But that's a good thing.
Army General Jack Keane. General, look, there's a lot of activity going on.
Yeah, a lot of activity.
It's being reported that we're waiting for the Iranians to answer our 14, 15-point plan on a piece.
Hold on. This is supposedly new.
Of paper and so forth and so on. We're said to be in a ceasefire.
Where we're exchanging fire.
Although there's still fire going on back and forth.
Yeah, excellent point. So not a ceasefire. So there is no ceasefire. Why don't you just say it that way?
Same with the UAE. And what do you make of this situation, right?
Shit show comes to mind.
Now, are we ready for a deal? Are they ready for a deal? Or is there's still more mopping up to do?
I think there's a lot. Either you have a lozenge or a Coke problem or both.
Yeah, well, that's a great question. I mean, the facts that we've
By the way, Sam the Eagle called. He wants his face back.
experienced so far would indicate that they're likely not. And they're just playing us and playing for time, frankly. Let's think about it. 4 weeks ago, they took over the Straits of Hormuz.
I think this might be our oldest episode ever. Like where the people that we've looked at, with the exception of Sobek or whatever, I think everybody's been 150 years old.
And we went to a ceasefire and stopped the war. They believe that is exactly why they took over the Straits of Hormuz. And we set a 2-week deadline for negotiations.
No, it was a week, and it was 3 days, and then it was 10 days. And then that 10 days just kept getting punted.
And then extended a week, and now we're in an indefinite period of negotiations. So 4 weeks have transpired since we began the ceasefire.
Where we're still firing.
And when we did it, we knew we only had 2 weeks left in the bombing campaign to finish our assigned objectives that President Trump gave to CENTCOM and Prime Minister Netanyahu gave to the IDF. 2 weeks.
So Trump jumped the gun on the ceasefire. All he needed was 2 more weeks and everything would have been finished and it would have been awesome. But Trump tacoed, and that's why we're in the mess that we're in. This is, I think, the argument that he's making.
Raise a taco, take a bite.
All right.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Yes, it was. Before the other 2 weeks.
We would be finished.
Everybody's like, can we speed this up? Unfortunately, no.
By now.
It's on Rumble.
But we're in negotiations here. And what we have seen
Are we, though?
Before is Iran's emissaries who do the talking to our emissaries promise things and they're getting close and willing to make concessions. But then when it actually comes time to agree to something, the people truly in charge, not the negotiators, say no. They're likely probably saying, to be frank about it, hell no.
Wow. Such language.
And that's kind of where we've been for the last few weeks. So while I know there's optimism about this is the time that they're really serious and going to make a deal, I'm skeptical about that because I think they're really still playing for time. And what are we talking about time? What they're thinking is that the political and economic pressure on the president particularly the political pressure with the midterms coming, the longer
we know, again, this is a realization that's happening in maggot world right now. Like they're just waking up to this. I mean, Keen's probably been talking about this behind the scenes, and Levin just wants to bomb the fuck out of him. He's basically Lindsey Graham with a beard. So we know, this is what we told you so, shithead.
they drag this out, the less likely it will ever be that the Trump administration would go back into combat operations. And what they're hoping for is that they just end it and sort of declare victory if there's no negotiated deal. That, I think, is their strategy, and they're playing it out right before our eyes. Even if we do get a deal, so our audience understands that.
Wait, he thinks there's an audience for this?
A deal, for one, guarantees the survival of the regime. Two, it enables them to recover. And by that I mean, any deal that we make with them, they certainly are going to have a condition in there, release unfrozen assets. And
oh my God, I've never been so bored and right at the same time.
Likely determine that on conditions that the behavior is changing, and two, sanctions relief, and hopefully also with some conditions. But what that does, and what the Iranian people will understand.
It's like, Levin's like, when do I get to start yelling?
And so clearly, is that helps the regime to recover in time. And that means that eventually they will begin to fund their proxies again, Hamas.
Yeah, asshole, we know. That's what I said. That's why you don't open this can of worms, because there's only one way to fix it, which is to you have to destroy the regime. It's the only option you fucking have. And we have Captain Krusty Hands in charge of shit right now, on his way to Beijing with this mess on his hand. You think any of these assholes are worried about him? All right, I got one more thing I want to show you, and then I'll let you go, because I've kept you long, and I appreciate you guys being here. But let me do this real quick. It's there we go. Let's see. Laura Ingraham has had a bit of was like pitching a fit about China this week. Where was it? She was like wigging out effectively. Yeah, there she is. Dink. And again, this is a Fox News host who's selling this shit hard and somehow believes that Trump is the man. There's the okay, back up here. This is Spain, the European Army, blah blah blah. 100%. This is the thing. I will find it. Don't you worry. Hit the like while I'm looking for it. Yeah, here it is. This is okay. So, Wall Street Journal posted this story about China's Xi is steering hundreds of $billions into dazzling technology and military muscle, but consumer confidence is gutted and the job market is bleak. Yeah, and they posted a picture, by the way, of him with Kim Jong-un and and Putin and the dude is that the guy from the Philippines? Anyways, at this little gathering. And her response to it, this is Laura Ingraham. Correct. And the last thing we should do is throw China a lifeline by allowing them access to our manufacturing base or auto industry with an investment agreement. If that happens, goodbye Detroit, and Dems will pounce as tougher on China. You bet your ass we will, lady. But this is exactly what Trump is going there to do. This is exactly what Trump is attempting. Like this is his goal, is to go there and basically try. He thinks he's going to get China to build factories in the United States, buy land and build factories in the United States, like he thinks the Japanese and the South Koreans are doing, but they have an entirely different business model. The Japanese, by and large, and the South Koreans certainly are not spying on us by any means, and the Chinese are all the time. So there's one more thing. I think she bitches about that. That's basically the one part of it. And this is where she. Yeah, her whole thing right now is the economy is awesome right now in America, so why give China a foothold? And the way she says, the proof is that Americans have more jobs than they've ever had, thanks to Joe Biden. Plus, nobody's leaving their job because they can't afford to, and there's no job movement. The unemployment numbers are in such a in rough shape, and wages are not growing. Nobody dares leave. But her thing is the economy is booming. No need whatsoever to give China any foothold in the United States with investment in our critical industries. This is where she's flipping on it. So don't expect her to be doing an interview with Trump anytime soon. Here we go. There's the lift on here. I'm going to see where she does the China thing again real quick. I'm going to look up one more thing. I think she did a post on here, but hang out. Laura Ingraham. Media. Because I don't know if she posted anything about this CSL, but it looks like it. China plays both sides. This is the latest. We'll go to that. Yeah, Fox News. Here you go. Boink. Is this her article? Yeah, she hasn't even said it on her show. She's doing this whole thing. This is what's going down in China right now, and this is the thing to keep an eye out, and this is where maggots are freaking out. This is from her. Mr. Trump and Xi Jinping are reportedly considering a deal that would allow China to invest $1 trillion in the U.S., largely to build factories on American soil. Trump on the verge of making massive error against AIDS advice report. And she's citing Raw Story. Think about that for a second. Fucking Laura Ingraham is citing Raw Story. That again, Ron Paul sounds like he's on Democracy Now! Laura Ingraham is quoting Raw Story. This is the story from them. Trump on verge of error, World Historic Against AIDS Advice report. Always one looking to make a splashy deal. Trump is making a serious consideration to allow China to make a massive investment against the advice of his closest advisors and an expert on Friday. In a column in the New York Times, so she's referencing a New York Times article through Raw Story. So anything she says about mainstream media or the left-wing media, any of that stuff, is categorical bullshit, for the record. But and she goes, conservative columnist Oren Cass reported that the president may be on the verge of tying the United States to China irrevocably. Mr. Trump and Xi Jinping are reportedly considering a deal to allow China to invest $1 trillion in the United States, largely to build factories on American soil. Cass described the scenario as an unforced error of world historic proportions. The reported negotiations, I mean, shit, you want to compare this to a fucking spy balloon, you ain't seen nothing yet. Oh, and Trump will definitely end up with a Trump Tower Beijing out of the deal. No question. The reported negotiations come as Trump prepares for a trip to China, seeks to cement his legacy as a deal maker, which is, again, fiction. And even if the deal undermines the very trade agenda he championed, because again, he ran on being the peace president. We're at war and on the verge of World War IX, depending on if you do the math and carry the two. The reported negotiations, while Trump's approach to China has frequently put him at odds with his own administration, his willingness to consider the investment stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of the relationship. Trump sees China as simply offering a bad deal and believes the remedy is negotiate a better one, Cass wrote, meaning they put a bunch of money into our country, buying land and the like. He's proceeding despite concern from advisors in the administration. I don't blame China, Trump told business leaders in Beijing in 2017. After all, who can blame a country for being able to take advantage of another country for the benefit of its citizens? I give China great credit. According to The Economist, this transactional worldview fails to account for the strategic reality that Chinese investment operates under fundamentally different rules than American capital flows. $1 trillion infusion of Chinese capital would exceed the total direct investment in the United States made by any other country since the Declaration of Independence, he wrote, before adding that even a fraction of that amount would devastate what remains of American economic defenses, weakening national security and supply chain resilience, while handing the Chinese Communist Party a powerful tool to subvert U.S. markets. Unlike American companies that pursue their own goals with relatively little political interference, Chinese companies operate at the pleasure of the Communist Party. When the party decides to dominate an industry, it can offer virtually unlimited financial support and access to a virtually unlimited labor pool. Welcome to the model. Welcoming that model to our shores would be a catastrophe for the United States. Abundantly clear, and that's going beyond even just the fucking spyware aspect, the malware aspect of all this stuff. Holy shit. And anybody who looks at this dude and says, he's got it together. He's mentally all there, and he can negotiate a deal that will be good for America. Is fucking insane. Again, he looks like hammered shit. And I'm sorry I don't have the nut warning set up on this piece of software, but I will. By the next time we meet, I will install it. Tomorrow morning, Wednesday mornings, Megaworldwide is at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Don't forget the afternoon show, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I guarantee the rest of our clips, thank you, Cheryl, for the Venmo. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Your comic relief during my coming undone. Sorry. During coming your current unpleasantness. Yes. Well, that's what I'm here for. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. This is, I'm going to get like, sorry, I've got to cover it on the vertical as well. Ugh. I will put that up by the next time we meet. I promise. But he's gone, and he's going to be jet lagged when he gets there and when he comes back. He's going to be on so many fucking drugs in the next 2 weeks while this Iran shit is going on and his brain is fading. Fuck. All right, I'm going to let you guys go, but don't forget, next Friday, a week from this Friday, we're in Wadsworth, Ohio at the Celestia Theater. The night before that, we're in Pittsburgh. Let's see, I didn't bring this up. There we go. We're in Pittsburgh at the and think. Come here, you. Turn on, silly. There you go. Did it come in? There you go. Nope. Get out of there. There you go. Yeah, there we go. We're in Pittsburgh. That's Chicago. That's the Chicago one on Saturday, May 23rd. Nerd Halen. Mighty Nerd Halen, featuring Hal Sparks. I don't know if you didn't know I was featured, but I am very featured in that as the singer. And then, of course, we're going to be in Pittsburgh at the Craft House on May 21st. Please come and join us at any of these you can find your way to. Move this over here, and it should be bigger. I agree. And hopefully, in the very near future, we'll be able to put all this current unpleasantness behind us, and I can go back to just being funny for a living. And we'll just stick to that. So, but in the meantime, I will be here to help you through the current unpleasantness as best I can. And hopefully I will see you on the road. If you're a Patreon member, don't forget, if you're coming to the show, just let me know. And you and a guest can come to any of the shows, my stand-up shows, the Nerd Halen shows. Just let me know and I'll put you on, and your guest on my list. I appreciate you guys being there. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And we will see you tomorrow morning. I don't know if are we rating anybody? I just want to make sure I'm not leaving anybody out. Tomorrow is, the Major's going to join us. He's in the middle of his campaign, and Phil, right? No one to rate? Okay, we're cool. All right, off we go. Much love to you guys. Don't forget, also, Nerd Halen, we have a single on iTunes, Nerdy Woman, and we do it live. So if you want to learn the words and all that kind of stuff. But I'll leave you with a 01 song on my way out the door. All right, which is my other band. This is Downside Out. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Still warm with a ghost of us. Naming my mouth cuts too much. Half a thought and it folds in two, like a bruise leaves its mark on you. Don't hurt in my shaking hand. Know something I don't understand. Like ghosting at the edge of me. Something there that I just can't see. You hear that too? Or is it just me? Downside out, downside out. I need to go where I don't belong. Downside out, downside out. I need to go where it feels so wrong. It's the same sad song, empty space that was here all along. Every step is a borrowed shape, every second a vain escape. Laughter crying out for sin, summer stealing the autumn wind. There's a face that I almost know through a window where I won't go. If you're there, don't let me see. Downside out, downside out. I need to go where I don't belong. Downside out, downside out. I need to go where it feels so wrong. I held it still so it wouldn't ruin. Now it moves in the things I do, in my hands, in the way I speak, in the cracks when I try to sleep. And you sit like you always did, never answer, just nod your head. If I reach, do you disappear?